I need to ask you is, do you have any problem being taped?
No.
I know this is probably the most complicated thing you have to do, but it's great practice, right?
All right. Yep.
So what we're going to do is we have 5 questions. We'll go amongst us, and then so Bobby is the honors director, and if you're admitted to the program, he will actually be your academic advisor. So you'll have someone you can come talk to personally.
Okay.
And I hear him advising students all the time, and you know it's good to have continuity. You know me because you're in class with me, but I actually run the GEO program here. Then there's the UF component. That's why we're taping you so they can watch you. And then Brandon is at the Orlando Science Center, and so it also involves an internship in the summer. So Brandon's also.
All right. Nice to meet you, Brandon.
Hi there.
So let's start off. Just a few questions. We really want to get to know you a little bit. So can you tell us about yourself, your background in coursework, and how it makes you suitable for this program?
Yes, I can. So we'll start with my name. I'm Malia. I'm from a small town called Bushnell. It's in Sumter County. I don't know if either one of you.
I know where it is.
You know where Bushnell is. No
it's
one
on the
ever.
way to Flagler Beach.
So it's a very small town. I lived there until I was 8, and then my family moved to Tennessee for 6 years. And when we lived in Tennessee, I started finding my love for science. I was homeschooled from 2nd to 8th grade, and I took a big interest in science. I loved rocks. I loved mountains and trees and how everything works, and astronomy as well. So my mom would actually specifically get programs geared towards science and the planet and nature and stuff. And I liked all kinds of science, but specifically earth sciences were very interesting to me. And then as I got a little bit older, we moved back to Florida when I was 13, and I went into a public high school. And my interest changed a little bit there, and I became more of an artsy kind of person. And then I really liked psychology, and I spent like 4 years not really sure what I wanted to do. And so after I graduated high school, I took a year off, and I worked for a year and saved up money so I could come to school. And then this year I came here, and when I started school, I actually had interest in neurology. And my first day of class with Heidi, actually, I was like, wow, this class is really interesting because I'm in World Regional Geography. And I was like, you know, I really have always had a huge interest in the planet, and I love it. And most of the time outside of here, all I talk about is trees and rocks, and I like to go to mineral stores and buy rocks and look at them and find them. So it started growing more of an interest, and I actually went ahead and changed my major to geography, just because I know there's a lot I can go into with that, whether it's cultural or physical, and I think it'd be a good course for me to start exploring right now. And that's kind of why I'm interested in the program, because I think it would give me a great opportunity to explore my other interests. So, I'm a pretty charismatic person. I'm kind of loud. Not sure why. When I was growing up, my parents used to tell me, hey, I don't think they could hear you across the street, because I've always been kind of loud. Easily excitable. But I really like to enjoy things simply for the aesthetic of them. And I'm very passionate about things that I love. I have strong beliefs on certain things and things I stand on that are very important to me. I told my mom I never thought I'd be that person who, I don't shop there because of this, or I don't support them because of this. But I am that person who is like, you know what, if you're not going to do something, for example, I will not shop at the store Forever 21 because their plus-size clothing line is so crappy. It's simply because of that. And I'm thinking, we should be supporting people of all body sizes. And I will not buy certain brands of makeup, and I'm a big makeup junkie. But I won't shop MAC, and I won't buy, NARS because they animal test. And so I just have kind of set beliefs that I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to change on that because it's something that's important to me.
Okay. All right, Bobby, you're next.
Can you tell us about your approach to a challenging situation?
Such as, or just in general?
Well, you can answer it in general, or you can answer it, I can give you a hypothetical, whichever you choose.
Let's do hypothetical, just to get an idea.
So you're assigned a task in this program, and you receive all the information in written form, and you're also debriefed on it verbally. And you get started, and you're not really sure how to proceed.
Okay.
So what do you do from there?
I think my first option would kind of be to take to the internet and kind of look into some things. And then if I still couldn't find any help there, I would probably go to a mentor or something, or someone who I knew would possibly be able to help me with it.
Anyone want to follow up? Brandon, that good for you?
All right. So on behalf of the Science Center, we're going to have you, working with a lot of families, a lot of multi-generational groups with grandparents and caregivers with their children. Would you be able to talk a little bit about any time in which you were working or volunteering where you directly interacted with the general public, and specifically if you have any interaction with children, and I'm thinking 4, 5 to 10-year-olds?
Okay. So my junior year, I actually volunteered in a nursing home for a little while. But I only did that a couple times, and then I spent a year working in customer service at McDonald's, and I had a lot of interactions with the general public. As a matter of fact, I had customers that would come in every single week, and one of my customers took me out to dinner when I graduated and gave me a graduation gift. So I did have a lot of interactions with similar people. But the biggest part is when I graduated high school, like I said, I took a year off and I worked in a daycare for a whole year. And I actually had a class of 2-year-olds, but I only spent about an hour of the day with just that class. The rest of my day was spent with ages from 2 to, I think 9 was the oldest. No, we had a 10-year-old. So in the morning, I would spend from like 8 to 12 with just ages 2 to 5. And then in the afternoon, when the big kids would come over from school, I'd spend the rest of the afternoon working in the yard with them. So yeah, and I spent a whole year doing that, and I enjoyed it a lot. I love kids.
So prior to doing that, what made you even jump into doing daycare work? And can you talk a little bit about what your daily activities were?
Yeah. So I took a early child care class in high school, but it was never something I was super duper interested in. I just knew I liked children, and I'd babysat a few times. And I'd gone to that daycare when I was a child, so when I went by and asked if they were hiring, the supervisor was like, yes, and she loved me, so she was like, if you want this job, totally. And I was like, wow, I have no experience, but okay. So she kind of hired me on the spot, and I knew it would be a job I would enjoy because I do like kids, and they tend to always lighten the mood and make me happy. So at 8 in the morning, I would get there, and it would be playtime. And so the kids would run around, and they'd play for about 30 or 40 minutes, and then we would have snack time, and I'd go and I'd get them snacks for all the kids. And we had, it depended, but roughly in the mornings we had 20 kids. So it was just very small daycare. And then after snack time, we would have bathrooming, and everyone would go to the bathroom, and we'd change all the ones that needed to be changed. And typically, most of the ones that were up front with me, they were potty trained, but there were still some that had diapers and whatnot. And then after that, everyone would take their own individual classes. And my class was 7 to almost 3-year-olds. Some of them were turning 3 in there. And in class, we would learn colors, shapes, numbers, the alphabet, and we'd go over sounds and stuff. And then we did a lot of crafts and just kind of fun stuff to work on their motor skills and their creativity. And I like to ask them a lot of questions and get their brains working in the morning. And then after that, I would be in class for about an hour, and then everyone would go outside, and they'd get to play until we had lunchtime. And every other week, it kind of went back and forth on who did lunches, but every other week I would do lunches, which was just unpacking their lunch boxes and heating up their food and setting it all up for them so they didn't have to worry about anything when they came in there. And then after lunchtime, they would have nap, or we would bathroom them again, and then they'd have nap time, and nap time would last 2 hours. And then after nap time, we'd wake them up, bathroom them again, and then we'd go back outside, and we'd have the big kids there. So sometimes I would be in the little yard, that's what we called it, and the other times I'd be in the big yard. And basically in the little yard, we would just kind of play with them and watch them and make sure nobody's doing anything destructive or hurting anyone. And it was the same in the big yard. There were certain rules, you can't play on this if you're this young and this and that. So just to supervise and make sure everything was okay. And then I also did cleaning there every other week. So we had to clean every single day, bathrooms, kitchen, floors, and we vacuumed twice a week. So, but that was just a basic rundown of a day.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
Okay, can you tell us how you manage your time and prioritize tasks? How will you juggle your course requirements, work requirements, and the requirements of the program?
So typically, for me, my schooling always comes over work, and I do have a job right now, and I'm actually trying to get a second job. But first and foremost is my classwork. I tend to try to get things done as soon as they're assigned to me, just so that I don't have to worry about them in the long run. I'm not always fantastic at that. I do have times where I slip up and I'm like, oh no, I need to work on that. But it does take a higher priority. And then work's important to me too, but like I said, it's more important to me to get my schoolwork done than work. And with a program like this, it would probably be right up there with classwork for me, because it is something that would be really important for me to do well in.
Okay, Bobby.
So if you were selected for the GEO program, you would be expected to be available summer A to continue working on research with your mentor 10 hours per week.
Okay.
If you are interested in the Orlando Science Center internship, you would be required to go to Orlando during summer B term and work at the OSC full time. Do you have any plans that would conflict with these summer expectations and requirements?
I do not.
Okay. Were you planning on taking classes over summer?
Mm-mm.
Brandon, do you want to ask your question, or do you want me to ask it?
I can, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So thanks for taking the time to sit down with us. The other thing we would like to hear is, in your opinion, what do you think you're signing up to do? Can you talk a little bit about what you think the program is going to be and what you're being asked to do? It gives us a chance to clarify some things for you.
Okay, so I'm thinking that I will be working with the public, like you had said. But I think this program is going to be a chance to be able to research and learn more about different aspects of science that I'm interested in. Other than that, I'm not really sure. I don't know that much about it. I just know that it sounded like something I would really like to check out.
So did you look at the different mentors, and did you see
Yes.
an area that you're interested in?
Yes, I did it a while ago, but I can't remember who I put down, to be honest. I'm so sorry.
What was their area of expertise? Do you remember that?
I think it was agriculture, but there were several other sciences. I think they put that they had worked with astronomy, and maybe geology, which are two things I'm pretty interested in.
Jasmine.
Oh,
Yes.
Jasmine, okay.
Yes.
All right.
She does biological engineering and soil science.
Yeah.
So just to what we do is tell you what we think you're going to be doing.
Okay.
In the spring, you'll actually be taking another class with me and a seminar. And
Okay.
what we're doing is we're trying to build a cohort of students together, because you're actually going to be going through this whole thing together. And we're going to be researching how working as a cohort works and how it encourages you to go through the program.
Okay.
At the beginning of that, we will go to the university 3 times and see everybody's labs, and then you'll be paired with a mentor. And then the expectation is you'll do research with them all the way through summer A, and in summer A, 10 hours a week. So you're going to have some ramped up research. When you get to the Orlando Science Center, you're going to be on the staff there, and hopefully you'll be able to integrate some of the research you've done into what you're doing at the Orlando Science Center. In the fall, there is a final seminar where we introduce you to some people who are working in geosciences. We'll have some guest speakers. Most importantly, you will be finishing off, so you'll do a final trip to Orlando Science Center and do your final sort of unveil, and you'll be presenting your research either at a conference or even at Santa Fe College. And in that seminar, we'll be working on your transfer application to a 4-year college. So
Okay.
that's sort of the goals of the grant, just so you know.
Okay.
So, did I explain it right, Brandon?
Yeah, nailed it.
All right, good.
Just for 2 years.
So at this point, is there any question you have for us, or anything you want to add that you haven't, you feel like we haven't covered yet?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I think I'm
all right.
good.
Well, we really appreciate you coming
Yes,
in.
thank
Thanks very
you.
much.
Thank you for the
Good to see
opportunity.
you again. Yes,
Good to see
thank
you.
you.
You
Put
okay?
your